Hasta la vista, baby.
Get away from her, you bitch!
I, Iron Man.
Expecto Patronum!
I am your father.
There's a snake in my boot!
What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another end of the year ranking. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Continuing on my end of the year ranking videos, most recently I ranked all the musical movies this year in 2021, and now I gotta rank all the comic book movies in 2021, from worst to best. There's 9 movies to rank here, and 2021 was a great year for comic book movies. There were a couple of stinkers, but I think this year has been one of the best years for comic book movies in such a long time. Just so you guys know, this is my ranking. Let's agree to disagree, but not bash other people just because you disagree with their opinion. This is my list overall. I'd love to see your list down below in the comment section and have a nice, respectful conversation about it. So without further ado, let's get going. Easily the worst comic book movie of the year, in my opinion, is Snake Eyes. Me not knowing anything about the G.I. Joe franchise, not being a huge fan of it, really knowing nothing about Snake Eyes going into it, except Henry Golden was playing Snake Eyes, and I think he should be the next James Bond, but Henry Golden, you're better than this, man. Snake Eyes is one of the worst action films of the year. The editing and the fight choreography just looks horrible. The editing is some of the worst editing of the year by far. And it's not only one of the worst things I've seen in a while, it's definitely one of the worst movies of this year. I really have nothing else to say about this piece of crap, so let's go to the next movie.
Kingsman.
Now, I'm a big fan of the Kingsman series. I think the first film was one of the biggest surprises ever, and the sequel not so much. But going into a prequel for the Kingsman series, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see how the Kingsman organization was created, and what did I get? A 2-hour and 11-minute war. What was that? I think Ray Fiennes does save the movie, if I'm being completely honest. It does have some cool fight sequences, but the story is completely bland. It was pretty pretentious and boring, and not enough charisma that the first Kingsman brought, in my opinion, and even the second one too. So the Kingsman has a good cast to it, but definitely is going to be very forgettable in my eyes, and I've already forgotten about it.
Chaos soon come. Is the loneliest number that you ever do.
Next, we got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, the first Venom was actually not that great. I thought Tom Hardy at least saved that movie. And so going into Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the thing we wanted to see was brutal carnage played by Woody Harrelson, and we got a PG-13ized Carnage. It was better than the first film, but I was really frustrated we didn't get R-rated carnage, just brutal blood fight sequences. I don't feel like these Venom movies work as PG-13 movies. They should be rated R. This is freaking carnage we're talking about here. And the post-credit sequence leading into No Way Home is kind of bland, but it is better in the No Way Home movie. It's a mess of a script, but it is enjoyable with the Eddie, Brock, and Venom relationship in here. But everything Carnage just did not work for me.
When you said goodbye.
Up next is Eternals. Now, this was probably my most anticipated MCU film this year because I wanted to see the vision of Chloe Zhao, her coming off her Best Picture, Best Director win for Nomadland. Maybe the MCU just doesn't flow right for her. This movie has a lot of characters in it, and That was one of my biggest concerns. But yes, the first Guardians of the Galaxy introduced a ragtag group of misfits, and they were able to balance those characters out well. But in here, you got 10 plus new characters, and only a couple were interesting. I like Phastos, I like Fena, I like Gilgamesh, and I really like these actors, but this movie was way too long. The final battle went on for way too long, and I was really disappointed with Eternals. I really wanted to love the film. I just found it to be fine. I didn't hate it. Just because it's the first MCU movie to get a rotten score, that doesn't mean I hate the movie. I just was very underwhelmed. Black Widow, this movie should have come out 10 years ago, or even after Civil War, and it does take place after Civil War. I'm happy that Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff finally got a movie and was able to give closure to her character. This movie had some fun sequences in it, and it introduced a really cool new character with Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh does a great job in here, and she's going to be great in the MCU in the future. I really like David Harbour in here. I thought he was funny. I wasn't a big fan of Rachel Weisz or the Taskmaster. Well, Taskmaster was awful. But Black Widow had some really good action sequences, a good closure for Natasha Romanoff, and it really did feel like I was watching a Mission Impossible, Jason Bourne type of film.
It will. It has to.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, thank God the movement did happen, because this movie completely squashes the Whedon cut entirely. I'm embarrassed that even was made. Did it need to be 4 hours long? Definitely not, but I wasn't frustrated, and I wasn't even bored watching this movie. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, every character gets their moment to shine, especially Cyborg, who was not even a character in the Whedon cut. And they gave him so much backstory in this movie. Ray Fisher stole this entire movie. And the Flash, too. I'm not a big fan of Ezra Miller's Flash, and he was really funny in here. And Aquaman, too, he gave him a great relationship with Diana in here. Wonder Woman's badass, Batman's great, and Superman, of course. Black Suit Superman is the OG. And Steppenwolf, too. Steppenwolf was awful in the Whedon cut, and he gave him so much depth in this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. This is definitely a great Justice League movie.
Is this what you wanted?
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This movie was really awesome. The martial arts really slap, and Simu Liu is a star in the making. I mean, Shang-Chi, not knowing anything about his origins or his comics or anything, I really love this character in this world, and the cultural representation they brought in this movie was awesome. And of course, it had a task of bringing back the Mandarin in here and doing it right. Thank goodness. Tony Leung was amazing as Wenwu. I really love that this movie was just a father and son family dynamic gone wrong type of movie, and it wasn't focusing on anything with the multiverse or world-ending stakes like the Avengers films. This one was really great. It explored family, introduced a badass new character to the MCU, has some of the best fight sequences ever in the MCU. And that bus sequence, I may have watched that scene way too many times. Going to an early press screening for this, I was really excited to see Suicide Squad early, and my theater loved it, and I loved it as well. James Gunn's humor, the way he balances all these characters, bringing back Harley Quinn was great, and just seeing these new characters. I mean, King Shark is like my character this year. He's my phone background, and Sylvester Stallone killed it. But Peacemaker, John Cena's Peacemaker is awesome. We are getting his show next month, which I'm looking forward to. It has the James Gunn humor. If you love the Guardians of the Galaxy humor, you're going to love the Suicide Squad. I mean, the action's great. Everything within the final battle was awesome. And it's just awesome. Suicide Squad was one of my favorite theater experiences of the year, but it did get dethroned, and you know what it is.
Hello, Peter.
SpiderMan No Way Home. This is easily the best comic book movie of the year, and possibly one of the best comic book movies of all time. Only seen it twice. I definitely need to see it another time and more times to come, because this movie gave me everything I wanted. This was probably the best acting I've seen from Tom Holland as Peter Parker Spider-Man. He's so good in this movie. He becomes Spider-Man. Seeing all of these villains really concerned me. Obviously, we heard Doc Ock and Green Goblin, all of them were going to be in the movie, and they balanced all these villains well. Electro, I hated him in Amazing Spider-Man 2. He was so annoying, but he was really great in here. Easily, Spider-Man No Way Home is my favorite comic book movie of 2021. There you have it, guys. That was my ranking for all 9 2021 comic book movies of the year. Did you guys agree with my list? I'm sure you don't. And let me know your list down below in the comments. Let's have a polite and respectful conversation. Look forward to more content to come for the end of the year. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!